Well, welcome investors, and thank you for your time this morning. I'm Annika Cowan.
I'm Natalie Edwards.
I'm Stephen Lee. I'm Hudson Wall.
And I'm Richard Crow.
And we are CareFare, a new way of advertising nonprofits and Uber cars. My bad again. So, I recently took an Uber ride from a guy named Nathan, who drives on the weekends as his third job. He likes Uber because it allows him to spend time with his son while still balancing his other two jobs. He needs this job because it's how he earns his lunch money, and the only way he keeps it is by getting good rates from his passengers. And because he is so tight on money, he doesn't have the spare change to donate to local nonprofits.
This is Timmy. He's a child growing up without a mom. He essentially doesn't have a dad anymore either, because his dad is more interested in his gang than his son. Timmy is growing up in a world surrounded by violence and drugs until he was able to find Ormiston Nonprofit. Ormiston was a safe haven, his place where he could call home, but now they can't provide for him because they don't have enough funding to keep him there. This happens all too often. According to nonprofitquarterly.org, 57% of nonprofits fail after 5 years. Leading to our two customer segments, the charities who don't have the budget for long-lasting advertising campaigns, and the Uber drivers who need good ratings to keep their jobs.
So our solution is a printed, laminated advertisement that's hole punched. The idea is that it would go around the back of the headrest, and it's a bungee cord so that the drivers can take it off when they're not working for Uber. On the advertisement, as you can see, there's a brief summary of the nonprofit along with photos. Those are both provided by the nonprofits, but therefore customizable. Also, there's a text to donate number, so donations can be made on the spot by the passengers. The last thing on there is a link to our website, carefare220.com, so riders can see what CareFare is and learn more about it. So in Illinois alone, there's over 100,000 nonprofits, that this is a big market of nonprofits to partner with. And on average, there's about 210,000 Uber rides in Illinois alone daily. Combine that with the average ride of 15 minutes, that gives us over 3.15 million minutes of impressions for the riders in the Uber cars to see our advertisement. So according to atlasofgiving.com, there was $456 billion donated to charities in 2014. We can't get the statistics for 2015 because tax returns aren't done yet. But so if we focus on just the amount donated in Illinois, it's about $13 billion, and then we're taking 0.1% of that, which gives us $13 million.
As for our competitors, we do have some indirect competitors, which is taxis, billboards, radio, and TV, but our main direct competitor is Vugo. Vugo is a startup company in New York City, and they're not on our radar because they use TV screen tablets instead of our print advertisement. Leading to our UVP, which is slightly different than what we gave you in the pre-pitch document, our 4 points that we are really passionate about saying is that it's removable and it's durable and it's easy to put on the seat, as well as we have our 15 to 20 minute average Uber ride, which means 15 minutes face-to-face advertisement, face-to-face time with the advertisement. Since we have a text to donate number, it is on the spot and there's no risk for the charities because we are a commission-based model.
So we are expecting to earn $500 in donations per nonprofit, and we think we can get 2 new nonprofit organizations every month. And as you can see, in year 3, we have a major annual growth rate of about 500%, and that is because we expect to merge with Uber. And with that being said, we'll be nationally with Uber drivers and nonprofit organizations. So our cost of goods sold, with our gross profit margin being 14.5%, is basically from the assembly of our advertisement, which is about $3, and the commission. We would take a 15% commission of the $500, and we would get $75, and we would give them back of donations $425. So for our net income, it does look fairly small for years 1 through 5, but that's obviously normal. Because of that, after SG&A costs and gross profit margin, with our SG&A being IT, very minimal because it's just the maintenance of our website. Obviously the salaries for us 5, some shipping fees that we need to actually ship the advertisement to the Uber drivers. And
as for our marketing strategies, We are constantly updating our social media. As well, we have our website, and we're getting many more views each day, daily. We are going on the Uber forums in order to acquire Uber drivers faster. And we are also going to the airport, which we are taking our flyers that we created, and we are taking them to the airport and going to the ride-sharing parking lots in order to get more drivers faster. And in order to acquire the charities, we are sending out mass email campaigns.
Throughout the whole MVP, we have gotten an amazing amount of help from KC Printing. They have helped us design, print, and laminate our advertisements for Inside the Uber cars. We have started to advertise inside our own mentors Uber car. And we have also printed out flyers that we have passed out at nearby airports where all the Uber drivers are located at.
So we've been doing our MVP through 2 phases for the 2 different charities we've been working with. The first one we were working with was Youth Outreach Services. And the first thing, we got it into 10 different Uber cars, but the first thing we learned is that we need to be very careful while designing the actual advertisements, because some of the drivers we talked to were offended by the images right here. So we need to be really careful and make sure that the drivers are really comfortable with supporting the charities that we're putting inside their cars. And the second thing that we realized that's much more important, we learned from it, is that right here we have a website that they can actually donate to instead of the text-to-donate number that we were talking to. And we ended up getting 0 donations through our first one. And we realized the reason for that is because people want to donate directly from the car as fast as they can, and if they have to go home on the computer and donate, it's not going to work as well. So from what we learned, we made many more changes in our second phase, which was with Special Olympics Chicago. And with Special Olympics Chicago, we made sure that every single driver was extremely comfortable with putting in their car first, and more importantly, we put a text-to-donate number on the advertisement so they could donate directly. Because of lack of time, we had to just put a mock number so the actual money that was texted wouldn't go straight to the charity, but we could still record the numbers for the money that would be donated. And we ended up getting $25 with only having it in 1 car in less than a week, which is much better numbers than we had before. But we also realized from that and learned that we need to do this on a much larger scale if we're going to be able to make the money that we need. And the way that we're going to do that is by taking more trips to the airport, because that's where we're acquiring a lot of drivers, but also getting a lot of people to come to our website, which also opened up with phase 2 less than a week ago. Which you can see right here, the numbers on our first day came up very high, but we also, all the people come to our website is from seeing the advertisement. So that's showing that people are coming to the website, and we just need to get the drivers from there.
So the proposed structure for our business is going to be an LLC because it's the most common for startups. And then we're asking for $7,520. $6,000 of that would be startup costs, mainly our advertisement. Another $1,500 would be the liquidity cushion, and the remaining $20 is the maximum cumulative loss. So we're proposing 10% ownership of our company, which leads to a post-money valuation of $75,200. And as we said, our exit strategy for you would be selling the company to Uber year 3. Your money multiple is 3 times, and then your interest rate return would be 44%.
So as you all know, the phrase that one person has the potential to change the world. And as you can see, we have 5 of us, 5 individuals that are fully committed to work for CareFare next year. With this said, of us being fully committed with CareFare, Timmy's charity is able to get the donations and funds that they need to keep Timmy and many other children there. Also, as for Nathan, the Uber driver, he is able to feel connected to the charities that he's putting in his car while making some extra money, while making some extra cash being an Uber driver. Now that is driven humanity. Thank you.
In your financial modeling, so there was the year 3 ramp up, but I didn't see something that looked similar on the income statement. Can you maybe go back to that and just?
Well, as that went up, I also had, like, for our salaries and SG&A, I raised them just to kind of even it all out, so it kind of increased, the same throughout years 1 through 5 for our net income.
But you can see $14,000 of net income. I'll go back a couple slides. Your revenues are $693,000.
Right.
That's
2%.
Yes, I don't even know how you're making money. Be a little bit more crisp with that. Let's just take that $20 that somebody gave.
Yeah.
How much goes to you, how much goes to the charity?
Yeah, so we're doing a commission-based model so that there's no risk for the charity for like, if we charge $100 to put in 10 cars, then they get no donations. That'd be risk for them. What we're doing instead is we just take a small portion of the donations to them. So we take 10% roughly. We're still working out the numbers for what percent we would take, but about 10% is what we're thinking of the donations.
So 10% goes to you. $18 goes to the charity, or some of it go to the driver, the Uber driver?
Nothing goes to the driver or the Uber driver. The only appeal to the Uber driver is the higher rating and the idea that because a lot of these drivers only work part-time, they do other jobs, a lot of them talk with our interviews with them, don't have kind of the extra change, don't have enough money to give back as much as they want, so it's a different way to support the nonprofits.
Okay, so you got 10 Uber drivers. How many Uber drivers did you talk to, and how many said no? And what was your conversion rate of saying, if you went to an Uber driver, saying, put this in the back of your car?
Roughly 75% agreed to put in their car.
How'd you reach the Uber drivers?
We had to go on Uber rides.
What?
We had to pay for Uber rides. With one other alternative to that was we went to the airport almost every weekend, but we also found it hard because airport is very busy during the weekend. So one of the things we have to change if we move forward is that we want to go on weekdays so that we can focus in, talk to the drivers, and get them to put it in their car on the spot.
Did you talk to Uber?
No, we were doing that after we have something to show them that our idea is viable.
By the way, I think you should think broader than just one exit strategy, Uber buying this. It's not even in their core competency. There's a bunch of other exit strategies that could be viable here.
Is this a nonprofit?
No, we're a for-profit.
Can you walk us through your COGS? I don't think I understood that slide very well.
So yeah,
Help me understand the gross profit margin.
the gross profit, that's basically from the 15% that we're taking of the $500. So we would give back $425 of the $500, and then also for our advertisement, the assembly of it would be roughly around $3. So that would give us
So this costs $2.67
Yeah.
is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Currently.
And this isn't 10% commission, this is 15% commission.
Right.
So that's a little high, guys. So first of all, I want to applaud you because I've been told that you had your mentor sign up for Uber, you've had every adult you could possibly get sign up for Uber, and that you solicited directly at the airport numerous times going up and down to...
It was a little...
You want to be careful doing that, but
Yeah.
I applaud the effort. But your percentage is kind of high. If you look at signmeup.com and elements like that, they're generally about 6%. So you could probably tweak that a little bit, but 2.5 to 3 times that on your income is going to be. You're going to start to look at your cost to income ratio and say, yeah, that's going to get a little dicey for the IRS to take a look at. Also, to Michael's point, there's going to be a ton more options that you have than just Uber. I know that you've got access to a very senior person at Uber that you can continue the conversation with, but that's just one. And you shouldn't want to just hear that answer one time. You should want to hear it 3 times and get them competing against you. Against themselves, I'm sorry, for your.
My concern is the counting on the Uber drivers' goodness, goodwill to give you shelf space for your product. Did you test to see if their rating really did improve because they have a nice charity thing card?
So that was one of the things that we wanted to test with the MVP first of all, just to see whether the drivers would or would not be willing to do this for free. And like she said, 75% was a large enough number, what we were looking for. And then part of the way, because we're not paying the drivers, that we'd have a way to incentivize is we're thinking possibly programs such as like whoever has the most donations from their car, because we can track each car individually through their number that they have in their car, such as programs like $20 gift certificate or things such as that for people for the Uber drivers that do the best, which is just do the most rides they can. And it's kind of just a way to try to help them give back to the community while doing a good thing, kind of.
Yeah, so
What's the commitment for the $500 that you're taking from the nonprofit? what is the commitment you're making to them about distribution and marketing? I mean, how many impressions are they expecting to get?
Okay, I got this.
Yeah,
So the Uber drivers that we've gotten, by taking the Uber rides and then also going to the airport, we make sure before we put it in their car and we want them to be one of our CareFare family, that they are doing okay, sorry, I'm stumbling. So most of the drivers, about 5 and 6, they have Uber as their first job. So, for example, a guy named Mark that we have as our Uber driver that I got a week ago, it's his full-time job. So he does Uber Monday through Friday, 12 to 8, and then on the weekends he does it from, let's say, I think it was 3 to 5. He doesn't do as much on the weekends, but we're making sure to acquire drivers that are doing it on a regular basis, because if you think about it, if we get a driver that does it, he has 2 other jobs, and he's not really focused with it, it's not going to be as much of a help to us.
Do you know the demographics of the average Uber driver?
Yes, I do. 52% of Uber drivers are actually male, and they have they have kids at home. So that's the people that we are trying to target: the men who are middle-aged who have children at home, and I think roughly 30% have other jobs that they're committed to as well. But most have it as one other job or a full-time job.
So they're doing it for, it's a requirement, it's not for fun.
Right.
So you might consider that percentage of your income, trying to divert some of that to your program that you mentioned, Stephen, to say if you're the biggest one, you get this gift. If there's a way to shift some of that to give them some financial incentive to keep putting that on the back of your headrest every time they get in the car for Uber.
And the $500 is an estimate, right?
Right,
You're
yeah,
saying
of course.
there's not a, the charity doesn't have to give you $500.
No.
This is what you think you'll, and you've had 2 donations that have happened, right?
Yeah.
How long, and by the way, I applaud you for changing and pivoting on your MVP from, oops, this didn't work, let's figure out texting. How long has the text strategy been in place?
That's less than a week with only 1 car. We got
One car
$25.
less than a week, $25,
Yeah.
okay. And then the text model, do all of the texts come to you guys into a bank account, and you can tell each driver has a unique number, and you
Yeah,
have
that's
this.
how we can tell that it's not like a random person kind of texting us over and over and over again. It's because it shows the number when they text us, and basically we're doing the Zappos model pretty much for now until we can actually find a time to meet with Special Olympics and get the real numbers.
So if I text from the back of the car, how do you get my credit card? How's all that work?
So how it works for, right now, we just had to use a mock number because we opened up phase 2 very recently, so we didn't have as much time to set up the text donate. But there's a text to donate company that we've worked with in the past that basically just how it works is it either goes through your phone bill, so if you can like text, you'll text a number and it'll just pop up like what do you want to donate, and it'll say like 10, 5, or give you options,
Okay,
and they'll just go through your phone bill.
okay, and is there a cost to that?
Yes.
So that's probably part of your cost of goods sold.
It's
By
about,
the way, this shouldn't cost $267. You can probably
Agreed.
get
We
that down.
went with the contact that we have. We will, of course, get the prices down.
Yeah.
I'd like to make sure I compliment you on the way you handled questions. You've done a superlative job. You left a lot of facts off that you couldn't get in your presentation. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I like are we still have time?
Yeah.
Okay.
All you know.
I like the idea of this being a really low capital. $7,500 makes it fairly interesting for an investor. It's like, wow, that's affordable. We'll see where it goes. Can you give us a little bit of an idea where you would be sat in 6 months if we gave you $7,500? Realistically, don't. How many Uber drivers do you think you could have on the system, and how much revenue do you think you could be?
Especially since summer's coming up, the hardest part for us is coordinating our schedules to get drivers. You know, I mean, we're all in sports, very hard. So because it is summer, we can go to the airport. You know, during the day, we can talk to drivers. We can spend our time doing that now because we have the time. How many would you guys say? I think 50 per charity is realistic.
I'd just like to add really quick that we left this out, but one of the biggest ways of advertising that we could do, we said that we want to get them to our website, but the way that we do that is we found Uber forums that can go, that you can advertise on. We tried posting on the Uber forums, but we got taken off for being an advertisement. but we found out that you can actually advertise on the Uber forums, so that'd be a perfect way to get to our customer segment, and with the money that we get, we could possibly advertise on it.
And did you learn anything, the difference between Uber X and
Last
Black
question.
Car?
Yeah, Uber, you just pay more nicer cars. Uber.
But
like,
as far as willingness to put the ad in the
we
back
didn't
of the
take
car?
them. We
We took anybody?
Yeah.
Did you get any Black Cars, or
No,
was it
well, you
all
have to
Uber
pay
X?
more for
It's a
them,
lot
so
more.
quite frankly, we
Yeah.
didn't
We
do
were
that.
taking rides, we didn't do Uber Black.
Yeah,
Okay, well, think about the clientele that takes the Black Car
that's,
versus
yeah.
the clientele that
Some
takes
of it's-
X. So you might want to experiment with that. They might be bigger givers or not.
Mhm.
Maybe not, I don't know. I would imagine that they would be.
Are you fake it till you make it, or are you all in?
We're in.
All in.
All right.
Beautiful, thanks, guys.